Tourism in Singapore is a major industry and contributor to the Singaporean economy, attracting more than 19.1 million international tourists in 2019, more than 3 times Singapore's total population. It is also environmentally friendly, and maintains natural and heritage conservation programs. Along with this, it also has one of the world's lowest crime rates. As English is the dominant one of its 4 official languages, it is generally easier for tourists to understand when speaking to the local population of the country as a lingua franca, for example, when dining and shopping. Transport in Singapore exhaustively covers most, if not all public venues in Singapore, which increases convenience for tourists. This includes the well-known mass rapid transit system. Singapore is the 5th most visited city in the world, and 2nd in Asia Pacific. The Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report in 2017 ranked Singapore 13th out of 136 countries overall in the world, which was the 2nd best country in Asia, only behind Japan. The report ranks Singapore's business environment, international openness, also travel and tourism policy and enabling conditions as the best in the world. The Orchard Road district, which is dominated by multi-story shopping centers and hotels, can be considered the center of tourism in Singapore. Other popular tourist attractions include the Singapore Zoo, River Wonders and Night Safari, which allows people to explore Asian, African and American habitats at night without any visible barriers between guests and the wild animals. The Singapore Zoo has embraced the open zoo concept whereby animals are kept in enclosures, separated from visitors by hidden dry or wet moats, instead of caging the animals, while the River Wonders features 10 different ecosystems around the world, including the River Nile, Yangtze River, Mississippi, Amazon as well as the tundra and has 300 species of animals, including numerous endangered species. Jurong Bird Park is another zoological garden centered on birds, which is dedicated towards exposing the public to as much species and varieties of birds from around the world as possible, including a flock of 1,000 flamingos. The tourist island of Sentosa, which attracted 19 million visitors in 2011, is located in the south of Singapore, consists of about 20 to 30 landmarks, such as Fort Siloso, which was built as a fortress to defend against the Japanese during World War II. Guns from the World War II era can be seen at Fort Siloso, from a mini-sized to a 16-pound gun. Moreover, the island also consists of the Sentosa Luge, a small 1 or 2 person sled on which one slays supine and feet first. Steering is done by shifting the weight or pulling straps attached to the sled's runners. Among the latest tourist attractions built in Singapore includes the 2 integrated resorts which houses casinos, namely Marina Bay Sands and Resorts World Sentosa, a Universal Studios theme park, Gardens by the Bay and Jewel Changi Airport. Tourism statistics: Singapore attracted approximately 19.1 million visitors in 2019 with receipts at 27.1 billion Singapore dollars, according to preliminary figures by the Singapore Tourism Board. Singapore attracted approximately 18.5 million visitors in 2018, according to Singapore Tourism Board. This number increased by 6.2% from 2017, which likely is due to an increase in arrivals from Asia, USA, and the United Kingdom. Top 3 markets included visitors from China, Indonesia, and India, due to strong travel demand and increased flight connectivity. Indian travel also escalated due to new cruise offerings from top cruise lines. Overall, 14 out of Singapore's top 15 markets were able to log growth in the 2018 year and are expected to continue doing so through 2019. Speaking monetarily, increase of tourism receipts was largely due to growth in entertainment, gaming and sightseeing. Singapore attracted 15,095,152 visitors in 2014, according to the Singapore Tourism Board statistics, but which excludes Malaysian visitors who visited Singapore via the Causeway or the Second Link. This was a 3% decrease from 2013. Due to a decline in arrivals from China, Singapore's second-largest market. Total visitor days was a record 56 million days, a growth of 3%, or an average of 3.7 days per visitor. 21% of visitors were day trippers, while 79% stayed for a day or more. 78% of visitors arrived by air, 10% by sea, and 12% by land. The largest age group of visitors was from 25 to 34 years old at 23% of visitors, followed by 21% for those aged 35 to 44 and 17% for those from 45 to 54 years old. The visitors came from the 5 biggest markets, mainly Indonesia, People's Republic of China, Malaysia, Australia, and India. But in 2016, People's Republic of China tourists' number has overlapped Indonesian tourists' number. Tourism receipts was estimated at 23.6 billion Singapore dollars in 2014, compared to 18.9 billion Singapore dollars in 2010. With sightseeing, entertainment and gaming accounting for 24.7% of total expenditure, accommodation making up 22.5%, shopping accounting for 17.4% and food and beverage another 9.6%. Medical receipts, representing the medical tourism industry in the country, contributed 4.2%. Gazetted hotel room revenue was estimated at 3.15 billion Singapore dollars, an increase of 7.7% over 2013. The overall average occupancy rate was at 85%, 0.9% lesser than 2013, with the upscale tier seeing the largest increase of 1%. Overall average room rate remained flat at 258 Singapore dollars, while the overall revenue per available room was 221 Singapore dollars, and decrease of 0.9% over 2013. Shopping. There are various shopping belts in Singapore: Marina Bay, Bugis Street, Chinatown, Geylang Serai, Kampong Glam and Arab Street, Little India, North Bridge Road, Orchard Road, and the suburbs. Singapore seeks to be the business hub of Southeast Asia and has an expansive shopping precinct located in the Orchard Road district. Many multi-story shopping centers are located at Orchard Road. The area also has many hotels, and it's the main tourism center of Singapore, other than the downtown core. The local populace also use Orchard Road for shopping extensively. Island Resort Sentosa is a relatively large island of Singapore located to its south. Along with a beachfront resort, the island's tourist attractions include Fort Siloso, its historical museum, the Sea Aquarium, and Madame Tussauds Singapore. Singapore also features two casinos, one the Marina Bay Sands and the other, Resorts World Sentosa. Cultural and historical landmarks. A former British colony, Singapore has various historical and cultural landmarks with British and regional influences in its architecture. Such cultural landmarks include the Masjid Sultan, one of Singapore's most important mosques, which was completed in 1826. The Thian Hock Keng Temple, one of Singapore's oldest Chinese temples, which was completed in 1839, and the Sri Mariamman Temple, which was built in 1827, making it the oldest Hindu temple in Singapore. Other historical monuments include the Kranji War Memorial, Civilian War Memorial, Victoria Theatre and Concert Hall, Yu Hai Ching Temple, Lien Shan Shuang Lin Monastery, and Istana Kampong Glam. Singapore has four major museums depicting the art and history of the country and of the region. The Asian Civilizations Museum specializes in the material history of China, Southeast Asia, South Asia and West Asia, from which the diverse ethnic groups of Singapore trace their ancestry, while the Peranakan Museum, the first of its kind in the world, explores Peranakan cultures in Singapore and other former Straits settlements in Malacca and Penang, and other Peranakan communities in Southeast Asia. Singapore's National Museum of Singapore is the oldest museum in the country, with its history dating back to 1849. Mainly showcases collections of nation-building and the history of Singapore from the 14th century in a storytelling approach, while the Singapore Art Museum is a contemporary art museum focusing on art practices in Singapore, Southeast Asia and Asia. Other smaller museums include Changi Museum, which showcases collection of paintings, photographs and personal effects donated by former POWs during the Japanese occupation of Singapore, and the Mint Museum of Toys, which has a collection of 3,000 toys and childhood memorabilia from the mid-19th century to mid-20th century. Nature Sightseeing. Singapore has a variety of parks and projects which often feature its natural tropical environment. Singapore has three zoos, namely, the Singapore Zoo, Night Safari and River Wonders. The Singapore Zoo displays animals in open, naturalistic, spacious, landscaped enclosures separated from the visitors by hidden barriers, moats, and glass, with various shows and events occurring throughout the day to allow visitors to interact with the animals. Night Safari is the world's first nocturnal zoo. Set in a humid tropical forest that is only open at night, it is divided into 7 geographical zones, which can be explored either on foot via 4 walking trails, or by tram. River Wonders features a tropical rainforest setting and features 10 different ecosystems around the world, with 5,000 animals of 300 species. Among the main attractions in the River Wonders is a pair of male and female giant pandas, Kai Kai and Jia Jia, which are housed in a specially constructed climate-controlled enclosure which change throughout the 4 seasons, emulating their original environment. Among the various gardens and parks located in the country, Singapore's Singapore Botanic Gardens, Jurong Bird Park and Gardens by the Bay are most popular amongst tourists. The Singapore Botanical Gardens, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a 52 hectares tropical garden. Among its main attractions includes the National Orchid Collection with over 3,000 types of orchids growing. Jurong Bird Park is a bird zoo with extensive specimens of exotic birdlife from around the world, including a flock of 1,000 flamingos. The bird park is largest in the world in terms of the number of birds. Gardens by the Bay design is a series of large tropical leaf-shaped gardens, each with its own specific landscaping design, character and theme. Its main attractions are the 2 conservatories, the Flower Dome, which replicates a mild, dry climate and features plants found in the Mediterranean and other semi-arid tropical regions, and the Cloud Forest, which replicates the cool moist conditions found in tropical mountain regions between 1,000 meters and 3,000 meters above sea level, found in Southeast Asia, Middle and South America. Other main attractions include the Super Tree Grove, which features tree-like structures, known as supertrees that dominate the garden's landscape. They are vertical gardens that perform a multitude of functions, which include planting, shading and working as environmental engines for the gardens. Singapore also has two ASEAN heritage parks, which are the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, an extensive nature reserve which covers much of the Bukit Timah Hill, and is the only remaining place where primary rainforest still exists on the island, and the Sungei Below Wetland Reserve, which is known for its high variety of bird species, crabs, mudskippers and flora and fauna. Pulau Ubin is an offshore island where the last of undeveloped kampongs and wooden jetties, relaxed inhabitants, rich in preserved wildlife, abandoned quarries and plantations, and untouched nature still exists. One of the more popular spots on the island is Chek Jawa, a previous coral reef 5,000 years ago, where several ecosystems can be observed in one area. Dining. The cuisine of Singapore is often viewed by its population as a prime example of the ethnic diversity of the culture of Singapore. In Singapore's hawker centers, a technical misnomer, to be precise, for example, traditionally Malay hawker stalls selling halal food may serve halal versions of traditionally Tamil or Chinese food. Chinese stalls may introduce Malay or Indian ingredients, cooking techniques or entire dishes into their range of catering. Some dishes introduce elements from all three cultures, while others incorporate influences from the rest of Asia and the West. This phenomenon makes the cuisine of Singapore significantly rich in a cultural attraction. Much prepared food is available in the hawker centers or food courts rather than actual restaurants. These centers are relatively abundant, which often leads to low prices, and encourages a large consumer base. Food in itself has been heavily promoted as an attraction for tourists, and is usually promoted by various initiatives undertaken by the Singapore Tourism Board or the associations it deals with as one of Singapore's best attractions alongside shopping. The government organizes the Singapore Food Festival in July annually to celebrate Singapore's cuisine. The multiculturalism of local food, the ready availability of international cuisine, and their wide range in prices to fit all budgets at all times of the day and year helps create a food paradise, to rival other contenders claiming the same moniker. The availability of variety of food is often aided by the fact Singapore's port lies along strategic routes. Catherine Ling of CNN listed fish soup bihun, bak kut teh, chili crab, nasi padang, Hainanese chicken rice, and kaya toast as some of the 40 Singapore foods we can't live without. There is also a proliferation of fast food chains, such as McDonald's, Pizza Hut, KFC, Burger King, Subway, Long John Silver's, and Mos Burger. Halal and vegetarian food are also easily available. Tourist events. Singapore Tourism Board promotes a variety of events all year round for tourists. Some of the anchor events are the Chingay Parade, Singapore Arts Festival and Singapore Garden Festival. The Singapore Food Festival is held every July to celebrate Singapore's cuisine. Other annual events include the Singapore Sun Festival, the Christmas Light Up, and the Singapore Jewel Festival. Singapore hosted a round of the 2008 FIA Formula One World Championship. The race, held on a new street circuit at Marina Bay, was the first nighttime event in Formula One history. The event was considered an overall success due to the sheer amount of organization, planning and hard work put into the event. Also in 2010, Singapore hosted the inaugural Youth Olympic Games, where the Singapore Tourism Board, which say the Games is expected to generate a minimum of 180,000 visitor nights for Singapore. Challenges to the tourism industry. Health issues. The outbreak of COVID-19 in the city has affected the numbers of foreign visitors. In February 2020, Indonesia raised its travel alert for Singapore to level yellow, urging Indonesian citizens to take extra precautions when they visit the city-state. Indonesia is among the top source of foreign visitors to Singapore. It is predicted that the number of visitors could fall between 25 and 30% from the 2019 figure. On the 16th of September 2020, Trade and Industry Minister Chan Chun Sing has announced that all adult Singaporeans will get $100 tourism vouchers, accessible digitally via SingPass, to be used from December 2020 to June 2021. The $320 million Singapore Rediscovers voucher scheme is part of the government's effort to prop up the tourism sector, which has been decimated by travel restrictions amid the COVID-19 pandemic.